Hello, YouTube gang. This is Best Shooter here. I'm joined with Vic, and this is the first installment of the Griefer Hour podcast. We started this podcast to kind of talk about gaming and sports, and we've wanted to do one for quite a while. Anything you want to add, Vic?
Yeah, this is something we've been talking about. A little bit of background to us. I know we've been friends since my freshman year of college back in 2019. So, we've been friends for the last 3 years. And this is something we've brought up, at the end of our gaming nights when we're just, talking, chatting, getting caught up on like current events when it comes to like sports and gaming. This has been something we've been in the works, honestly,
Yeah,
whether we knew it or not.
we've basically been doing this podcast for the last few years.
Yeah,
except not posting it.
Yeah, honestly, nothing in front of a camera, nothing we're showing people on the web. But this is fun, I think. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, we've had a lot of funny moments that we're like, dang, this would be funny for a lot of people to see, but now they're actually going to. So just so you guys know, there'll be chapters labeled in the video. So if you want to skip to a different topic, you have the option to do so. And guys, I just want to let you know that normally during the beginning of these podcasts, we're going to do a segment called Quick Chats. Basically, Quick Chats is going to be questions that you have at the end of the podcast, and you can just ask us any question about any topic, and we'll just try and quickly get through them as quick as we can, just to kind of open everything up. We don't have any this week. To segue into our first topic here, we wanted to talk about a little basketball since the season just started. Do you have any players that stand out to you?
Well, I think the two, are two big six-mans coming off the bench for two, honestly, really big teams here, and that's going to be Westbrook, my bad,
Right.
and Ben Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, those are the two big ones kind of standing out here at the very earliest part of the season.
Ben Simmons has not had a good showing early on in this season.
No, you're right. He really has. And this is like way not too early, but at the time of recording here, they've really only played 2 games, and I've got his stats here right by me. In those 2 games versus the Raptors and the Pelicans, he's only taken 8 shots. He has made 5 and contributed 10 points, but that's in 55 minutes of basketball, Alex. I don't know about that. Those are very considerable 6-man minutes for such little production, in my opinion.
But so here's a question then. So Philly made the trade to get James Harden in exchange basically for Ben Simmons. Seems like neither team has really won that trade though. The Sixers are 0-3, right? Starting out.
It's been a rough go of it. My Celtics took them down on opening day, man. That was big. That was huge. Love them. But yeah, it's been a rough going for these, honestly, 2 very big name teams. You got the Nets with you got Durant, you got Kyrie, you've got, Ben Simmons supposed to be that guy you trade for, make a big difference maker, and he's out here playing all these minutes, and there's nothing to show for it.
Right. Where's the production?
It's kind of abysmal, but I think the bigger letdown has got to be Russell Westbrook, man. I did the math earlier, and I gotta do it again real quick here. It looks like he's taken 38 shots on the season, and he's made 11.
That's horrible. That's
horrible. No, something even worse.
What?
He's 1 for 12 from 3.
Literally Russell Westbrook. Dude, he is building brick houses out here.
Dude, LA is at least getting a little home development, I guess. But yeah, and he's also playing considerable minutes. So, in the first game, 31, second game, 27, 28 in the third. He's averaging a little under 29 minutes a game, and it's just, I guess he's contributed more than Ben Simmons with 31 points in those 3 games, but that's still only 10 points a game.
Well, and it's crazy when Russell Westbrook's complaining about, possibly coming off the bench. You heard about his supposed injury that he had, his hamstring.
The preseason's a weird thing. You see it in football; people get hurt all the time, and it's one of those unfortunate things. But a lot of people are able to power through injuries, and they play their best. Look at that game they had a little while ago against the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard on a minutes restriction plays most of his minutes near the end of the game, and they win it. So I wonder if it's just a mismanagement of minutes here. Do they need Russell somewhere else during the game? Do they need him more closer to the end like they did with Kawhi?
Or maybe, hear me out. What if it's just a phantom injury and he's just whining?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't put it past the triple-double master or whatever you want to call him.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's quickly going from triple-double master to triple-single master.
Dude, I don't know. It's been a rough start for these guys here, and it's just.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they get better throughout the season. I hope they lock it down, because those are honestly two really big pieces of those teams. I mean, it's Russell Westbrook, and he's not the youngest on that Lakers team, but he's pretty near it. I mean, it's honestly Shitty Oak's retirement home over there.
It is. Think LeBron's going to be on more of a minutes restriction this season?
I mean, well, you would hope not, being the face of that franchise, quote unquote. I mean, he's the big man over there now with no big names over there outside of what, I don't know, Anthony Davis.
You mean, as Charles Barkley puts him, street clothes Davis? Because that's all he's ever in.
True. I mean, when was the last time he played a full season? I don't know.
Couldn't tell you. Do you have any way too early predictions for this season? Like any sort of... I want to hear, obviously, I want to hear your thoughts on who is going to be coming out of the East and West. And then I also want you to put out like a sleeper pick for each conference. Like, what team's really going to take a leap this year?
You know what? And they took a little bit of a leap last year. Let's start with the West here. As far as the sleeper pick goes for the West, I like the Grizzlies. I like Ja Morant. He's had a couple of good games here at the start of the season. I think if they can keep this rhythm up, and they can be a top 4 seed in the West. I'd like to see that.
Yep, I would agree. Ja
Morant's been an electric player since he came out of college.
That was going to be my pick too. I think they're Grizzlies top to bottom, and they play with a lot of passion.
That team doesn't give up. And you even saw it last year. Like, these guys, they want it. They wanted it bad last year. So I mean, missing out's going to make it even that much better this year.
I can't help but feel though they're missing like that one piece. I think Ja Morant's great, but isn't there number 2? What's his name? Is it Jaren Jackson Jr.? Is that it?
That sounds right. I don't know.
But can you imagine if they had like one other real star on that team?
Hey man, there's a reason why this is way too early. There's still the whole trade deadline, the whole All-Star break. There's so much that can get done in the season. It's crazy.
Okay.
And then obviously my top team for the West. I mean, how can I not pick the reigning champs? I know it's boring to say, but yes, Golden State. I would say, they got those cool ass championship rings. They're feeling good. They're ready to rock, man.
All right. Well, actually, I'm gonna go a different route. I'm gonna say the Clippers are coming out of the West.
Really?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Fair enough.
I'm thinking the problem that they've had is they've always been injured. Kawhi is made of glass bones and paper skin. Paul George always seems hurt. And they just acquired John Wall, so that's a talented guy if he can come back to even, half of his former self.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they can all stay healthy. I mean, you got Mr. Load Management over there playing, the last quarter of every game. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes for him to get into that habit again.
Right.
But yeah, all right, I can see that. That's fair. As far as the East goes,
start with your sleeper. Start with your sleeper pick.
Is there a sleeper in the East? I mean, it changes from year to year, and I might get flamed for this one, but I'm gonna go a little boring. I'm gonna go with the Heat, man.
The Heat as a sleeper team?
Are they really a sleeper? They just lost to the Celtics. I didn't think they had a hot start to their season. Have they not? I don't think they've won that many. I know it's only like 4 or 5 games, but I think they're still looking for their first win. Maybe. Okay. I haven't paid attention to them a lot, but I know they lost to the Celtics the other day.
Okay. Well, I think my sleeper team in the East. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna say Cleveland.
You know what?
I don't hate it. And here's why. Let me explain. So first of all, Cleveland looked really good in the playoffs last year.
Yep.
And their big thing was, I think they had some injury problems. But that team, like when they're all healthy, I mean, Evan Mobley, great player. They have they have size. They're huge. They're a big team. And they're young.
Physical, the best of them.
Exactly. And I think they could out-physical a lot of other teams in the East. Now, they're a sleeper team. So, realistically, maybe a second round appearance. But who knows? You know, if they really put it together, they could do something big. And don't they have Donovan Mitchell now?
I believe they do. That's right. They had that blockbuster trade right before the season started.
Right. So there you go. You got a good guard there too. All right. And then who do you think is actually coming out of the East?
I think I've already said them one too many times already. I gotta go with the Celtics, baby. I mean, the hot 3-0 start. I love to see it. I mean, last year, you know, pretty much a 500 team. I mean, I guess they made the playoffs, and then everyone had surgery at the end of the year, and no one played, and they lost. I don't know what to tell you. It was disappointing. It was hard to see, heartbreaking, but I'm ready to see them bounce back. You know, they've acquired Blake Griffin, who seems to be giving a lot of effort. Don't hate it whatsoever.
Man, Blake Griffin really has a pattern of going to a team and not putting in effort, and then all of a sudden looking good on his new team, right? That's what he did in Detroit.
What I'm a little bit afraid of. I'm worried I'm going to get all this effort, and then he's going to be hurt one time, and then he's done.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about. That'd be my big worry. But Tatum just dropped 40 the other game. Brown's playing great. Marcus Smart, my bad, has only allowed, like, I think 11 points, and he's played against Embiid. He's played against Harden. He's played against PJ Tucker from the Rockets, and he's only really allowed like 11 points all season, I think, so far. Last I checked. That someone can fact check me on that one.
Well, and this is all without Ime Udoka.
You know, losing a teammate might be a little bit of addition by subtraction, and I might say this again later, but, you know, they seem to have really rallied around their new coach and seem to believe in whatever he's telling them. So I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see them win. Makes me happy as a big Boston guy. We'll see where they can go.
All right. Well, I mean, let's be honest. There's only 4 teams that really are probably in a position to come out of the East, and it's probably Brooklyn, Boston, Milwaukee, and Philly. Well, Philly's digging themselves a hole. They've had like an 0-3 start.
Yeah, they've been pretty rocky. And
I don't have faith in Embiid staying healthy enough to really get them through an entire 16-game playoff. You know, he always seems to get hurt.
Well, I think, wasn't last year most of his injuries were like contact based? Like, he broke his nose, and he played with a mask for a portion of the season.
He did. I don't know. I don't believe in Philly. They just always seem to crumble. So that basically leaves Boston, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee. And I gotta go with Milwaukee. I mean, big Bucks guy, you know, as you do. As you will.
I mean, honestly, if the Celtics weren't 3-0, I would have picked them. So I'm glad you did.
Well, I think Milwaukee's undefeated right now too, but I don't know if they haven't really been playing. They beat Philly. Well, I mean, they beat Philly.
I mean, it's already a leg up on the competition. That's huge for them.
But so I guess that would mean I am predicting a Bucks Clippers finals, and you are predicting a Boston Warriors finals.
I am.
You're going to go with the repeat, but that never happens unless, you know, LeBron's in the league.
You know, we'll see. You know, they made it work last season, and I'm hoping, you know, with everyone healthy, we can actually pull it out this year. I think it's doable.
Okay.
We'll see. I mean, again, way too early. We'll see what happens. Obviously, injuries change everything, but that's in every sport, so.
Right. All right, well, moving on, guys. We're going to hit the baseball blitz here. This is where pretty much Vic just goes through all the baseball news that's happening and gives us a little update on what's going on with the MLB playoffs. So take it away, Vic.
Hey, man, I'm happy for this. This is going to be interesting this year. I'm looking forward to it. I know everyone clowned Bryce Harper for going to the Phillies, but look where he is now. He just played Game 5. Beautiful game, beautiful series, honestly. Phillies advanced the World Series over Juan Soto and the Padres. I mean, honestly, kind of a heartbreaker for the Padres to make all these trades happen right at the deadline. They go and they get Soto, they get Josh Hader from Milwaukee, and they make the biggest playoff push ever. You know, they knock off the Dodgers, dude. They're out here hot as heck, and Philly just comes in and honestly steamrolls them in 5. I mean, heartbreaker game number 3 or 4 the other day. Sorry, my bad. 10-6. A lot of offense on that one, but today, Phillies advanced 4-2 against the Padres. Honestly, good series. A lot of offense in that one. Honestly, I don't think there was ever a dull moment in that series. For the most part, Philly was always seeming to be coming back from a comeback there, and it really wasn't like due like them having like sucky pitching. It was more their starters for the Padres were really good, but they had no relief help, unfortunately. Really makes you wonder what could have been if Fernando Tatis didn't do all those drugs, man.
I was just gonna say, moving to the Padres, yeah, I mean, think about as a player, right? And especially in MLB, where I think MLB struggles a lot with like player exposure, like, really promoting their stars. Because like, if you think about NFL, you'd be like, oh yeah, I know like the best player on every team.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's some you can name like the entire offense for 2 to 3 teams, but when it comes to baseball, you know 1 to 2 guys.
Right, you might know like 5 or less total star players in the entire league, and this is one of those opportunities where I think Fernando Tatis could have definitely like helped his brand, helped his reputation. I mean, I think he will recover from this. It's an opportunity that, people like Shohei Ohtani probably wanted, or Mike Trout would like. But it's sad to see another young soul, lose his way to the drugs and the PEDs.
Unfortunately, it does happen, but I think we got to move on here. Right. Astros Yankees, an abysmal series. No, I mean, I'm a Boston guy. I love it when the Yankees lose. Don't get me wrong.
But the way it's happening, though,
I mean, it's boring. It's these low scoring games, which I know baseball mostly is, but like all the pitchers all the relief pitchers pretty much have looked like crap, and that's where most of the runs have come in. I mean, you had a couple against the starters. I know Verlander may have given up like 1 run during his game 1 start, but he also struck out 11. The Yankees have been piss poor swinging the bat. Honestly, they might as well be up there with a tennis racket with no strings in it. That's what it looks like when they swing, man.
Did you hear that Yankees fans were booing Aaron Judge?
Don't worry. We'll talk about him in just a minute. We'll get there.
Oh, okay. All right. So are you predicting a sweep here, or what?
I would say so. I mean, not to spoil anything for our viewers, but the time of recording, the Game 4 did get delayed due to rain, I believe. Okay. And I know they had just started playing as we started recording here, but I know they're looking to sweep. We'll see what happens. It's Game 4. You never know. There's always that weird one you drop, but Game 5, you either bring back your ace and Justin Verlander, and he's probably going to make them look silly again. But I'd like to call this little segment here Judgment Time.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm going to go into Aaron Judge here a little bit. I got a couple stats here written down.
Lay into him.
Through 3 games.
He's
had 12 plate appearances.
Okay.
No runs batted in. I believe he scored 1, and that was in Game 1.
Like a solo shot or what?
Nope, no solo shot. I think he hit a double.
Okay.
And so next 2 guys struck out, and the other guy hit a double to drive him in. That's kind of it. That double is Aaron Rodgers. God, wrong Aaron.
Sport.
I mean, both disappointing, but
Right. We'll get to that too. We'll definitely get to that too.
Yeah. Aaron Judge, absolutely abysmal. 1 for 12 through 3 games.
Ouch.
Disgusting. Honestly.
Did he get MVP this season?
Almost. He currently has the most first place votes for AL MVP, and there's probably a lock with him breaking the whole AL home run record with 62 home runs. My home run record is Barry Bonds with 74, and even Aaron has said that. Aaron's chasing the greats. I mean, it's nice to say a individual league all-time record broken, but that's not my king. I don't rise for that, Judge, if you know what I mean.
Hashtag not my king. You've heard it here first from Vic. All right.
But anyway, yeah, that puts my World Series at Astros versus Phillies.
Okay.
Assuming Yankees don't learn how to hit the ball in one night and reverse sweep the Astros, which I don't see happening. I mean, Justin Verlander had a great game. He's set to come back in probably Game 5 or 6, depending on their rotation. And I mean, he's probably gonna strike out 12 this next game.
Okay. All right. Well, sounds like we're in for a blowout. and an embarrassment of the Yankees, which honestly I don't think a lot of people would complain about.
No, a lot of people are going to complain about the Astros moving on, but and this is what I want to talk about a little bit. I think I got the Phillies over the Astros, man. I love the way they're swinging the bat. I love all the pop. Rhys Hoskins at first for the Phillies. Bryce Harper's playing great at the DH spot. Kyle Schwarber in left field, man. Participated in the home run derby this year. Hit a couple in the first round. But, you know, he's at, I think he's at 2 home runs currently for the postseason, which is pretty huge. I could be wrong on that one.
You know, this Phillies would feel kind of like, you know how when the Braves won the World Series, it was kind of like you were rooting for the little guy, you know?
Yeah.
I don't need to see the Astros, you know, accomplish
I'd
anything.
love to see them embarrassed.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, cheater chip, am I right?
Cheater chip, you know, the asterisk chip, all of that.
Honestly. Yeah, but you know, the Houston Asterisks can go ahead and lose. I mean, I want them to end this Yankee season, please. Please 4-0 sweep. It'd be the hilarious thing, you know. 99 games, first in the AL East.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about Red Sox. If any of you bring up the Red Sox in the comments, you can. We're not talking about it. All right.
I mean, no one would want to anyway. Why?
All right.
We only talk about relevant teams here.
Well, I mean, speaking of relevance, I mean, Phillies squeak in over the Brewers, and that's the only reason they're here right now. Let's put that on the board.
All right. Well, I think with that we're gonna move on to a new topic.
Oh, fair enough.
Let's move on to football, guys. We know that a lot of people are big football fans here, so let's start with our Thursday night football preview: Ravens versus Buccaneers. Well, I think before we can really go over that, we need to talk about how these teams have been doing up to this point, because
oh man, I can't wait to go into this dumpster fire.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
Don't get me wrong, both very good. Both will probably win their divisions, barring any more horrible losses.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Ravens, 3 double-digit leads blown this year?
Yep. I mean, they're basically the second coming of the Falcons, but just multiple games.
Bad. So I mean, and then they've been one of the worst teams against the pass too. I mean,
their secondary
this last
is
week I know they had a
horrible.
couple people doubtful to play, and then you know they didn't end up playing. They still won against the Browns this week, 20-23. Thankfully, Justin Tucker can still kick field goals. No one had that in their questions for sure, but it's not been the easiest season for the Ravens. I mean, considering the talent they have at running back. My bad.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, you think about the teams that they blew their leads to. I mean, before Tua got hurt, the Dolphins were seen as one of the top 5 teams in the league, right?
Oh, yeah, they were definitely pushing for that top spot in the AFC East. I mean, they were right there with the Bills. They were keeping pace. Honestly, great pace. And they had won one over the Bills.
Yep. And then the Ravens blew one to the Bills too, didn't they?
Yes, they did. I mean, that was a huge 20-10 in the middle of the third quarter, and Josh Allen puts on a show.
Yep.
In the second half. Honestly, they really turned it up. And honestly, is it just that the Ravens aren't a second half team? Are they not built to withstand more than 30 minutes of football?
I wonder if their problem, they rely on the run so much, correct? I mean, what do they rely on? Because I would say rely on the run, but it's really just Lamar running.
I think it's the option, honestly. You know, don't get me wrong. Lamar can throw the ball.
Right.
So can a tight end, so can a wide receiver, so can I. I can go out and I can throw a ball.
Right.
It's not hard. To do it well and to do it at an NFL level, all right, you know, Lamar's earned that. He went to a great school in Louisville. He really wrote himself into... Did he win the Heisman? No, right? That was the year Baker won it over him.
Lamar?
Did he win the Heisman? I forget.
I thought he won the Heisman.
Oh, you're right, because they had I remember that one of the first years he was in the league, they had that Heisman backfield.
Yep, and he was in it.
Yeah, that's right. My bad. I got my years mixed up there.
So we're clear that the Ravens have been an up and down team this year.
Yeah, it's honestly inconsistent. Great against the run, terrible against the pass.
Now let's talk about a team that's been kind of like consistently not great. And you know where I'm going with this. We need to talk about what the Buccaneers did today against the Panthers, because this is bad. This is bad.
Hey man, look, let's put it this way. Giselle doesn't need to worry about Brady talking to other girls because obviously he forgot how to score.
He did. He forgot.
Dude, I mean, 3 points, and I don't even want to acknowledge it.
Hey, come on. They should have had 7 more, but Mike Evans dropped the most wide open pass ever. Did you see that? It bounced through his hands, and like he scooped it up and didn't catch it.
So glad he's not on my fantasy team this year.
Actually, he did okay, like points wise. He's on my team.
He did. He had what, 9 for 96?
Yeah, he was.
That was really good.
And good.
I think honestly another big problem with that was the Carolina run defense seemed really good. Leonard Fournette didn't have much on the ground. I think he had like 8 for 20. It was not a good day to run the ball.
Mm-hmm. But isn't it sad though that Tom Brady got outplayed by PJ Walker, aka the best XFL quarterback, I believe, when that was a thing?
Honestly, you're not wrong. Honestly, PJ Walker's really played himself into a great spot here. You got Sam Darnold seeing ghost. You got Baker Mayfield on the bench with an ankle injury. This is the freest start ever. You just had a fire sale. You got to prove that you got to stay.
Well, let's talk about these stats. He is 16 for 22 on passes, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a passer rating of 126. Dude, now, these are not the flashiest stats, but like
they're stats that win.
He basically, I don't want to say these are Geno Smith numbers, but like,
oh, Geno Smith had a great day.
This is like game management 101. You know, decent, efficient with the football, not turning it over, and they got the win.
McCaffrey or Robbie Anderson, by the way.
Well, yeah.
This is full like practice squad players playing at this point. We will to the practice squad. This was abysmal.
We will get into the Panther situation a little later, but yes, it was basically the JV team beating the varsity team, if you want to call Tampa a varsity team anymore. So
I think their talent's there. They did have a lot of injuries going to this game, and I don't think we can ignore that. But they weren't like huge injuries. They were mostly depth players. I think the biggest player they were missing has got to be Cameron Braid at the tight end position.
Yeah,
really, there's no one there. So Brady's playing with Chris Godwin on an ankle. Oh, Julio Jones was out this game too.
Well, Julio's made of sugar, so I'm not surprised.
I thought it was a great signing. I wish he could have stayed healthy.
That's what happens. Wide receivers, when they get over 30 years old, just kind of fall off the face of the earth. So
unfortunately, staying, that physically fit does put a strain on your body when it comes to working out and just being there to produce every weekend. And, you got to be ready and all that practice, man. It does put wear and tear on your body. I got to give him that.
Mm-hmm. So let's go over scores here. Do you have a line, or like what are you thinking?
I believe I was looking up this beforehand. I believe the money line is -2.5 Our favorites in this game. Okay. Believe it or not.
Do you know what the spread is?
No, I don't.
Okay. So give a score. Give an estimate for score here.
Thursday night's been abysmal, except for this last one. This last one was really good. We finally had touchdowns. Thank God.
Finally.
Thank you, Andy Dalton, for throwing most of the touchdowns in this game to both teams.
To both. Yep.
Short week. Both teams just had a game, and one team lost that game, whether they were ill prepared for that game or whether they were secretly preparing for this one. Tom Brady's 3-4. He is under 500. Depending on what the outcome of Monday's night game is with the Packers and Bears, I mean, they're going to have almost the same record. So I know Tom's got to get one. He's got to be ahead of Bill. I'm going to take the Bucs in this one. It's going to be close. I'm going to take 20-17.
20-17? Okay. That's funny you say that. I was going to say 23-17. So pretty close.
You got Bucs?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I think Tom Brady's going to come out and remind us.
As long as Chris Godwin's healthy and Mike Evans is healthy for this game, that Baltimore secondary is going to be able to hold up. I mean, they've allowed some of the most passing yards for like a top tier team like them.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah, I think it's 2-1. I think for every 2 air yards they give like one running yard or something ridiculous.
Okay,
they're just getting abused. So we'll see.
Well, we will find out, but both teams have kind of been meh, and that's just kind of how Thursday Night Football's been this year.
Yeah, so we'll see. I hope for a big bounce back for Brady. We'll see.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next game of the week. We have Sunday Night Football with 2 apparently good teams, the Packers and the Bills.
No. I think you're mistaken.
Well, the Packers.
We have like a 5-2 team against a 3-4 team.
A legacy franchise of excellence versus the Bills, who have historically been a bad team. So I think this one's pretty cut and dry.
Is it cut and dry?
Well, I mean, if you don't actually look at this season's stats, I think it's pretty obvious that Packers are gonna.
No. See, that's where you get it wrong, Alex. Let's talk about this. Let's dive into this. You want to talk about what happened? What happened last Sunday for the Packers?
You mean the showing they had against the Commanders?
Yeah, the team with no name, man.
I think that was just a fluke, and I think that it's been 3 flukes in a row now.
Wow, 3 flukes. I mean, come on, that's got to show some consistency at least.
Yeah, Aaron
Rodgers definitely not playing his best ball. I mean, lots of drop passes, man. That's hard, especially when they come on 3rd down and they end drives.
Yeah, well, the problem too is Packers have basically abandoned the run, it seems, and they're just trying to pass.
Oh, yeah, I mean, what? Well, I mean, basically both of Aaron's touchdown throws went to Aaron Jones.
Right,
he got both of them in that game. And,
Aaron Jones may as well be a wide receiver since that's all they seem to use him for.
I know Aaron Jones had 53 on the ground in that game on a couple of attempts, and I think Dylan had 2 or 3 attempts for 15 yards.
Not much.
No.
Well, the problem is if you just rely on the pass all the time, so your defense, playing their heart out, and then your offense goes out there and just throws 3 quick passes, and then they have to go back out. I mean,
I think a big tail in that game was the snap count. I think Washington had almost double the plays ran Green Bay did. I think it was like 30 to 60 plays ran at like one point. At least for offense. I mean, a lot of those came on big 3rd down catches by the Commanders. I mean, shout out to Taylor McLaurin. His catching ability has been amazing. I know Curtis Samuel had 1 or 2 big first downs in that game. Brian Robinson looked great. I think he's really taking over that lead role.
Yeah, rip Antonio Gibson, am I right?
Hey, man, he was still involved. Don't get it twisted.
I mean, he was on my fantasy team, and it didn't really feel like he was that involved.
Hey, man, he was out on the field for like maybe 25% of the plays.
So are like the athletic trainers and the water boys, but they also don't score fantasy points. So
yeah, I know it was a rough showing for Antonio Gibson. I'm happy to see Brian Robinson healthy. It looks like he's having a great career, even though he's been shot and has played more games than Michael Thomas. But that was an interesting game nonetheless. Bills coming off a bye here. We got a little sidetrack there.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's not much to talk about with the Bills because they are coming off a bye week. So what I'm hearing is Packers suffer a pretty embarrassing loss for the 3rd week in a row, and Bills are coming off fresh. So
fresh, rested, and they are probably well prepared.
And also, the Packers are one of the worst teams against the pass this season. Now, if you knew that, they don't give up, I guess, big plays, but they give up a lot of passing yards. So I'm afraid
they're not great against the run either, even though they were supposed to be this year.
Well, I mean, come on, what's Devin Singletary gonna do?
That's not Devin Singletary. I'm worried about.
Josh Allen.
I'm not worried about. This is what I'm excited for. I'm excited to watch Josh Allen bowl over people. Let's go.
Yep.
Fantasy quarterback get back in the starting lineup after an abysmal Matt Ryan week. I should have picked up someone else. Man, I should have picked up PJ Walker.
So let's go over scores here. I think I'm gonna think this is a high scoring game here, and not because both teams are putting forth a good product on offense.
I want yours first, please.
Mine first?
Yeah.
Oh, because you want the satisfaction of me.
I just want to hear what you're thinking. Because like what I'm thinking is completely different already. You said high scoring. I'm already off that track.
Okay. I am predicting, we'll say 35-17 Bills.
Okay. All right. That's a little better.
High scoring basically for the Bills.
I thought you were going to talk like, 35-33, something like that.
High scoring for one team, not.
Oh, okay.
Not
Thank you. Okay. So we are on the same page. I am taking 35 Bills. I'm gonna say 14 for the Packers.
14. Okay.
I'm gonna say they don't quite do what they did against Washington, and I think that Bills defense is better. Aaron Jones is not gonna have as much room as he did today, and that's going to be severely limited. And I think the Bills had a couple injuries on their D-line a couple weeks ago, and now they've had this bye week has honestly come at the best time for them. I know it's early in the season, but like it's also like almost midway through the season, so it's like perfect for them.
So we both have the Packers getting blown out, basically.
Oh yeah, on national television. I can't wait to watch this. Yeah. We're gonna watch this over Discord, right?
We're probably gonna enjoy this one and watch the downfall. All right, next game is Monday Night Football, Bengals versus Browns, with Joe Cool and Guy filling in for Bill Cosby.
Honestly, man. Yeah, I'm not going to dive into that one too much. I got Bengals.
Oh, yeah.
Man, and they had a great day, I know, against the Falcons. I don't want to, hype them up too much.
I got to say, Burrow was on my fantasy team, and he got me like 45 points.
He did a great job this week, honestly. I know Joe Mixon opened it up. He's going to have a little tougher time running it here. And I think this is going to be another close game, kind of like the Ravens-Bucks. But I'm going to take the Bengals by a touchdown. I'm going to... You know what? I'm taking... I know it's still a touchdown. I'm going to take 28-20 Bengals.
I think that's pretty reasonable. I don't know how the Bengals are against the run, but the Browns will definitely have a pretty good running attack.
I don't think Nick Chubb's going to have his way. I mean, as far as having his way, I'm talking like over 100. I think he'll get really close. I'm sure 95, 100 is in the books for him, but it's the touchdowns that are going to matter. I'm sure Nick Chubb will be able to help them sustain drives, but I'm interested to see what Jacoby Brissett can do against the Bengals defense. It's been interesting. Obviously, they haven't been amazing against the pass, but they have done okay.
Okay, well, I'm actually going to do something. I'm going to predict a little lower. I'm going to say 23-14, favor of the Bengals, because I think there's going to be a lot of clock running here with all the running going on. I just don't know if there'll be enough possessions to even get a higher scoring game. We'll see. If the defenses don't show up, then sure, they'll score away. But I think it's going to be a pretty average to low scoring kind of game here.
Yeah, on par to be one of the better Monday Night Football games.
Honestly, I mean, it's been rough going. I don't know what it is, but we have not had quality Thursday night football games or Monday night football games for the most part.
I think the reason for that is in a couple segments here we'll talk about him.
Oh,
the man that's ruined primetime football.
All right, sounds good. Before we move on to the next topic here, let's talk about some trades and movement going on within the NFL. So obviously we got to start with the big one. Christian McCaffrey is in San Francisco now.
Well, he did play on Sunday, and he did have a couple carries for a couple of yards. Since he made an immediate impact there in San Francisco, looks like he's still putting running back committee there with Jeff Wilson, but I'm sure that's because he just, he's got to get indoctrinated into that Kyle Shanahan offense. He's got to learn the plays. He's got to build chemistry there with Jimmy G. But I believe Christian will be able to overtake that lead back role. I mean, that's the whole reason you give up all that trade capital. What is it, 2, 3, and a 4 this draft and a 5 next?
So yeah, how do you think Elijah Mitchell will be affected by this?
I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see with him under contract for 2 more years. Maybe it makes him a potential trade target?
Possibly.
I mean, I know maybe even Christian McCaffrey gets redealt. I highly doubt that one, though.
Well, hasn't Christian McCaffrey only played 23 of like 39 games in the last few years?
I had to do a lot with last year, though. I mean, with his injury.
Yeah, I suppose.
And he's looked really good at the start here. I mean, barring something highly unfortunate, I would say he's going to be the lead back here in San Francisco for this year and next. I mean, he's under contract till 2026 now, unless barring something crazy. But I would say that probably puts Elijah Mitchell probably in like a trade area, or maybe as the RB2 to Christian McCaffrey, and then maybe you see Jeff Wilson Jr. get traded or something.
Okay. And speaking of Panthers, Robbie Anderson went to the Cardinals after having a little tantrum on the sidelines. So good for him. I'm happy. I know he definitely
Antonio Brown moment.
Yeah, I mean he did it on purpose though. Definitely.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't blame him. I mean you
want Baker Mayfield
the last
throwing
couple years. Yeah. You're playing with Sam Darnold a year ago, and now you're playing with Baker Mayfield. I mean, it wasn't having a terrible year. It looks like he was struggling a little bit. And he had that ankle injury, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Robbie was sad he wasn't getting his fair share and got traded to a team that had DeAndre Hopkins come back off of suspension.
Yeah, so now he can complain about targets.
Well, I think he complained about targets from the bench because, I mean, look at Rondale Moore and Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown. His foot injury is not as bad as they first suspected.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he should be okay. He's slated to be okay, I believe.
Yeah, well, so, Robbie Anderson's pretty much irrelevant anyway.
I mean, yeah. We'll see if they work him in. I highly doubt it. I mean, I'm glad he's out of there for his sake, but I don't know, man. I feel like the Cardinals kind of gave up too much there before knowing what was going to go on with Hollywood Brown.
Yep.
But we'll see.
All right, other news. The Chiefs restructured Travis Kelce's deal, and that opened up about $3.5 million in cap room. Are you foreseeing a run for a wide receiver or something? Or, I mean, I don't know what the wide receiver room's been like.
Rumored, even by Kelce himself. I mean, when he talked to his agent and the Chiefs management there, he said, hey, this is going to be to make a move this year, right? This is going to be able to, do something, and better the team. Not that they necessarily need it. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster has finally showed up for him. It seems like him and Patrick Mahomes has finally built that chemistry in another 100-yard game this last week. I mean, again, they played the 49ers, who have been on the kind of, are they good, are they not?
Yep.
Sitting at 500 there. This does open up a spot, man. There's stuff to be done, whether it's something at the trade deadline or signing someone, I don't know, slated to return in November. The Chiefs got a bye coming up in a couple weeks.
Are we thinking about who I think we're thinking about?
If you're talking about the man himself, the guy who won a Super Bowl last year after signing with them, Odell Beckham Jr., I believe, might make an appearance in a red uniform this year.
Well, I think he's noted that his preferred teams are Chiefs, Packers, and I think one other team, but
the Bills are on that list as well.
I mean, geez, can you imagine the Bills with Odell Beckham, Stephon Diggs, and Gabe Davis?
I can't, actually. I can see him playing the slot role. Maybe move Gabe out. Honestly, it might make Gabe Davis a better slot wide receiver if you don't have to play Gabe Davis at the 2. But yeah, I can see either Odell playing the 2 or him playing the slot, coming off that hamstring. They don't want to rush him too much. I could see him playing the slot in Buffalo, and that would make that team very scary and a very solid Super Bowl pick. But yeah, I think the Chiefs have $3.5 million to work with here. They can give Odell, hey, you're only going to play half the season. We'll give you half of vet min, pretty much.
Sure.
Come and play with the Patrick Mahomes, one of the more talented quarterbacks in the NFL. But yeah, that's where I see all the Odell going, at least. I think that'll be interesting. And one thing we definitely need to talk about here, I mean, I mentioned earlier, the man who ruined primetime football.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ride far, far, far away from the Broncos. Dude, I highway robberied the Broncos.
He fleeced them is the word I think is fair. He fleeced the Broncos really bad.
I'd love to see if the Broncos can maybe trade for a quarterback here at the trade deadline and maybe replace Russ or offload that horrible contract.
That bad.
I mean, if the Broncos want any sort of playoff hopes, yeah, he needs to go.
You know what is so crazy about that is I remember distinctly before the season started, you'd see it on ESPN, other sports shows. They were saying that division, what is that, the AFC West, was going to be the best division in football.
And look at the quarterbacks. You got Derek Carr playing like crap. Well, except for this last week against the Texans. I mean,
big whoop.
I don't want to praise them too much, but they had a good game and they needed it bad, really.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Herbert, I don't know if he's okay or what. I mean, he hasn't looked horrible, but I can tell he hasn't been the same after those rib injuries. But then you got Patrick Mahomes, honestly, taking that division by far, easily.
Right. And then you're left with Russ, who's, looking
highway
awful.
Robbery, man. I don't know what to do. I think he's honestly look at these couple plays. I mean, you see these ones all over ESPN. I mean, he's literally missing players waving their hands at him to throw them the ball. I don't know if it's just him going through his checkdowns and he already checked them or hasn't gotten that far yet, but he's not throwing the ball well.
Yep. Tough sledding in Denver for sure.
I don't know. It's rough to see. I hope they can turn it around.
All right, guys, moving on now. We're going to get into some gaming. We've covered all the sports stuff, so let's talk about the most recent gaming news and just stuff that we care about because we play these games. So I want to get started here with the current state of Apex Legends, a game that we've thoroughly enjoyed over the years and recently haven't been playing as much lately. And we're going to kind of unpack why that is and, things that might help the game in the future. So Vic, what are your thoughts on Apex right now?
Well, being this a game that's very near and dear to us, I mean, honestly, the game we met over, that's how we met and how we started talking to each other. This game has been through some ups and downs. It's been on a real roller coaster ride with this game, it seems. I think the biggest thing they got going for them is honestly the new season launching on November 1st. Definitely looking forward to that and looking to the new legend. Abilities seem interesting. They seem to have finally addressed as far as scan legends being hugely widely picked. You can see in the trailer there, looks like Seer's ult gets countered, Catalyst's ultimate. Looks like they've changed her kit completely based off what was originally to look like she was going to be a legend that could build stuff. And now she looks kind of more like this Valorant-esque legend. She's got this liquid wall now. She's got another snare kind of like Ashes has. They've completely changed her and reworked her from what originally Dynamite. And I don't know if those files were put in place to be fake and get people be like, oh, look at this legend, trying to be like Fortnite building stuff, and then they completely changed it in the trailer. So I don't know if that was a last minute decision or what, but I'd be interested to see. They got a map coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like they've added to the story a little bit as far as, Beyond the Outlands goes. But I think this might save this game maybe a little bit for the rest of the year. Hopefully it ends on a high note. I'd love to see that for Apex.
I just can't help but feel... I can't help but feel, though, that this game just keeps getting saved by the next season coming out. And I just feel like, smurfing has been a big issue in this game. It always has been, but it just, when you get teased with game modes like Gun Run and Control, that's like a respawn kind of game mode.
They've been awesome.
They have been.
Really.
But when you're dying to Smurfs in Battle Royale and you're just sitting in a lobby half the time, it kind of turns you off from the game.
No offense, I don't believe it. I'm not dying to a level 10 lifeline, getting, one clipped.
Right.
Something like a P2020, you're right. It has been pretty bad, and general public matchmaking has been terrible. Ranked has been super campy, and it's not fun to play when, don't get me wrong, placement needs to be rewarded, but that doesn't mean you can't take away from the people who actually go out and frag every game. Right. I think that's been a little unfair as far as the balance of things. I wish the game was what it was when it launched.
Yep.
I'm not displeased with what it's become. I'm sad that they haven't had constant content updates.
Yep. I think it's one of those things where we might take a break from it for a while, and then, when we come back, it might feel refreshing. But until now, I think let's talk about a game we have been playing more recently. Overwatch 2 has been a kind of nice change of pace. I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of fun.
Wonderful change of pace.
Totally different style of game. Just have fun with friends.
It really has.
It's not a game that you get put in a lobby and then you're instantly back in it, because you actually have to play the whole game. And you respawn.
It's been super fun, been refreshing. It's been a new style of play, a lot of more critical thinking, I think, rather than Apex.
As
far as you got to pick against certain characters, and you got to be strategic with how you push. You can't just solo stack. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of thinking. I look forward to unlocking ranked play. I think that's going to make the game even more interesting for us. By the time this podcast has been released, Bastion would have just been added back. His bug should have been fixed by the time the release of the podcast here.
Oh, they're coming out with that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him coming back. We'll see if he shakes up the meta at all.
Yeah, I hear Bastion's a pretty good Zarya counter. Get through her bubble. But
yeah, and actually, along with that update with him getting released, they're going to do some changes to Zarya. I think they reduced her bubble ability from 2.5 seconds to 2 seconds. And they've increased the recharge timer from 10 seconds to 11 seconds, which, isn't a big deal when you look at it just 1 second. But actually, that 1 second is, honestly the difference between, life and death in most online games.
All right. Another game that should be coming out real soon is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, a game that I'm pretty excited about.
Dude, I'm excited. I've watched a little bit of the campaign, and I can't wait to play it myself. I didn't buy the pre-order. I wanted to kind of wait for initial reviews, and the initial reviews are looking pretty good. Graphics look amazing. It's a great sequel to Modern Warfare from 2019. They've completely reworked the game. I like the new gunsmith. A little bit of the beta I played. I feel like this game honestly could contend for Game of the Year.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, after the Vanguard release last year, I think Call of Duty fans deserve a break. You know, give them a good game.
Honestly, I mean, even with Cold War, I mean, I know Cold War was rushed and it had its problems. I gave them their time to fix things, and they did. SBMM was turned up a little high in Cold War. I think that's what drove us off of it back to Apex. But Vanguard was terrible. I know neither of us bought it. It was just the beta was laughable. It just the whole joke of a game. Honestly, they got pushed back for a whole another year of development. And still put up a horrible game, especially for a COD title.
Right, a mainline COD title, and it's crap on release.
But yeah, Modern Warfare 2. I'm excited, man. I think there's so much to this game. I'm looking forward to the new cycle of games. This is the first game with 2 years of support, right?
I believe so. I believe this is the first one they're gonna actually start their
every other.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be huge. I think there's gonna be there actually has been leaked the camos for this game, and this might be one of the first CODs I ever camo grind, dude. I am fully ready. Oh, dude. Actually, if you play the campaign, in one of the missions, I think it's like mission 9 or something. If you work in inside a crate, you can see the gold weapon camo early. It looks beautiful. It's like a callback to one of the earlier Modern Warfares, where part of the gun is gold, and then part of it's kind of like this platinum silver to accent it. Looks sick. I do believe the middle mastery camo is platinum. That one is like a full silver gun almost. Still looks pretty, but
So what I'm hearing is, with all the free time you have from not playing Apex, you're gonna have time to grind out these camo skins.
Dude, for real. I love them. And I don't remember the name of it, but that purple one, dude, the mastery, the dark matter to this game is this beautiful prismatic purple diamond that just, honestly, you remember kind of Plague Diamond from, I guess you didn't play Zombies for Cold War, but no. That kind of dark aether ammo camo skin that looks almost like that. It's beautiful. This is one of the, honestly, I don't know, Modern Warfare's camos were a real letdown, but I'm looking forward to these camos. You could glitch through the campaign and see them early. That's how people found out, but it looks good, man. I actually might camo grind this COD game, dude. They're beautiful. Right. Looks like a lot of effort's been put into that side of things. I hope the gameplay is still as good as it was in the beta.
Another game that's coming out pretty soon, God of War Ragnarok. I've heard a lot of good things about that. It's obviously Sony's big title for the year.
I mean, probably the only title they have left, right?
Right. I mean, when you only release one game a year, because it's good, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's another game a year contender, definitely up there with Modern Warfare 2. Won't be able to play it, being an Xbox user and all.
Right. But being a plebeian, definitely. Apparently. So.
But I'll look forward to watching it. Definitely, I think that's going to be a fun game.
I'll definitely, like all other Sony single-player games, I will definitely watch the Let's Play so I don't have to spend money for a one-time experience.
Exactly.
All right, I don't know of any other big end-of-the-year games. Do you offhand?
Not offhand, unfortunately. I think that's the big one, Ragnarok and Modern Warfare 2 here. I know it's early to talk about end of year in, October, but we're getting there,
We are.
There's only 2 months left here.
All right. Well, moving away from the games and more gaming services and streaming, let's talk about Twitch and what they've kind of been doing lately. Because honestly, they've been, I don't want to say,
bag.
They have been fumbling the bag and
not their bag, but their streamers' bags apparently.
Right. They're right, fumbling their streamers' bags and kind of turning people off to using Twitch as a platform for streaming due to their revenue changes with going from. Was it 50-50 to 70-30?
The other way around, from 70-30 to 50-50.
Oh, right. I meant
yeah.
Twitch getting 50 and now they're getting 70.
Yeah, dude, it's been awful.
Because
it's just really
a lot
turned
of
off a
people
lot of big
switched.
streamers.
Yep. A lot of people are switching to YouTube now.
Dude, YouTube, honestly, king nowadays for streaming. I mean, look at the names that have already moved over, and I'm sure once contract negotiations come up on Twitch's end, I don't see a lot of people wanting to re-sign, man.
I've heard that the ad revenue and subscription model works better on YouTube than Twitch does, and especially if Twitch is getting greedy with how they basically poach off of their creators. I mean,
especially when you force them to run ads like once an hour.
Right.
It's not great when you said you need to make more money, and here you have to run this ad, or we're not going to work with you or partner you.
Exactly.
It's sad to see on Twitch's end of things. They were such a big platform, and everyone was talking about them. Everyone wanted to use that platform, and now it's
dying.
It's sad.
It's becoming the new Mixer, but Mixer shut down for other reasons, mainly just that Mixer come on, it's Mixer, terrible. Irrelevant.
I mean, Ninja and Shroud, my little combo name there.
Yep.
Yeah, Ninja and Shroud definitely basically walked in the Mixer, asked for $10 billion, and left with it a year later.
Yeah, with no negative repercussions.
Honestly, W moves for them.
That is like a Russell Wilson level of finessing right there, I think. To tie back to sports.
It really was.
All right, I think we'll move on here to our next topic here. Studs and duds for the week. So this segment is where we kind of give our studs and duds between sports and gaming and kind of talk about it. So I'm going to go first here. I'm going to go with my stud for the week, Joe Burrow. 4 touchdowns, almost 500 yards. I mean, come on.
Huge game.
The guy's a stud.
Oh yeah.
Like if he had an offensive line, we'd be talking about Joe Burrow in the same sentence as Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. I mean,
yeah, easily.
Not to meet ride him so hard. Right. Exactly. They had 5 opportunities to win that Super Bowl and they just didn't because the line sucks. Yeah. So, and then my dud for the week is not sports related. It is gaming related. Ooh. My dud is PlayStation releasing NFTs. I think that is a big L.
That's right. Yeah, that's. I mean, a little late to the game, man. That's.
NFTs were so probably about a year ago. Actually, 1 year ago is when NFTs were peaking, and I don't understand what PlayStation thinks they're going to gain from trying to push out these NFTs. But hey, if trying to be relevant with the times.
Yeah, just Internet Explorer style. Take an extra year to boot up here.
Exactly. So, stud, Joe Burrow, dud, PlayStation with NFTs. So, all right. Vic, you take it away. Your studs and duds.
Starting off with my dud here, and I'm going to let you know both of mine are sports related. 2 different sports, though. My dud for the week. I got to pass judgment, man. Aaron Judge, 1 for 12 through 3 games, man. He's favored to be the regular season MVP, and he can't do anything in the postseason. It's crazy what you do against, terrible teams. You mash home runs, absolutely beat them, and you win 99 games during the regular season, but when it matters most, and you got to win those, 5-game series, 7-game series, you can't play like this, man. You can't hit one little hit. It's
basically just a no-show,
honestly, and it's kind of sad to see. He definitely is kind of the backbone of that offense for the Yankees, and it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what happens here as he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. He's made it through arbitration. He is ready to make the big bucks. We'll see if he resigns. He's already turned down a big, $213 million 7-year deal with the Yankees. So we'll see what they can get done here after they lose to the Astros.
After they lose, yes, for sure.
We'll see if they really wants to stick around on that. And my stud this week. Yep. I'm glad you took Joe Burrow, because I did not. I kind of overlooked him this week, but I went for running back Josh Jacobs. I know he played the Texans this week, but I mean, almost 150 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. Yep. I mean, that's huge for that team. It's great to see him continuing to be one of the consistent pieces on that offense. Mm-hmm. And seeing him elevate his game this year. Really hasn't been injured through 7 weeks of football, which is awesome. But yeah, 20 attempts, 143 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's my stud of the week, Josh Jacobs. I want to remind you, viewers, quick chats. I want to start that next week to open up the podcast. Go down in the comments below, #quick chats. and ask us any question, any topic you want us to respond to. We're doing as many as we can do in 3 minutes.
That's the plan. As many as we can do in 3 minutes.
As we can do 3 minutes. Honestly, give us that interaction down below. #quick chats, and we'll respond to them next episode.
That's right. And it doesn't even have to be gaming or sports related. It could be our favorite color, favorite food, anything. We will, anything you want. It can be totally random within reason, of course.
Oh, but, yeah, of course. Come on now.
But yeah, come on, guys. Keep it clean, right? So
you can do this.
All right, well, thank you guys for watching this first episode of the Griefer Hour. I hope you guys enjoyed and maybe got something out of it. Next week, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing and get to those quick chats, and we should have another guest on next week. We'll leave that one as a surprise for you guys, but hope to see you guys in the next episode. Vic, anything you want to say to our audience?
Nah, man, peace and love. Thank you to everyone who interacts with this, and we hope you stick around. It was a lot of fun for us. I can't wait to make more of this, man.
Yep, I have a lot of ideas for the future, so awesome. Thank you guys for watching. If you please like and comment on our video here, that'd be appreciated, and make sure to sub to get more of your Griefer Hour content. Until next time, guys.